Most people begin their lives by asking a question, but it is rarely the right question. They ask, what should I do? They ask, what job should I get? What business should I start? How much money should I make? How can I become successful? And then they spend years searching for answers to those questions. But there is another question, a much deeper question, that most people never stop to ask. Why? Why are you doing what you are doing? Why do you wake up every morning and go to work? Why do you want to build a business? Why do you want to become successful? Why do you want more money? Why do you want people to recognize you? Why do you want to achieve your goals? At first, these questions may seem simple, but if you have the courage to answer them honestly, they can completely transform the direction of your life. Because there is a difference between knowing what you do and knowing why you do it. Anyone can tell you what they do. A company can tell you what products it sells. A teacher can tell you what subject they teach. An entrepreneur can tell you what business they run. A leader can tell you what their organization does. But the people who truly inspire us go deeper. They know why they do it. They know the purpose behind their actions. They know the belief that drives them. They know the cause they are willing to stand for. They know the future they want to create. And when you understand your why, everything else becomes clearer. Think about your life as a circle. At the outside of the circle is what? What do you do? What do you sell? What service do you provide? What work do you perform? What product do you create? Most people begin here. Then, moving inward, we find how. How do you do what you do? What makes your approach different? What process do you follow? What principles guide your decisions? And finally, at the very center, we find why. Why do you exist? Why does your work matter? Why should anyone care? Why are you willing to keep going when things become difficult? This is where the most powerful question begins. WHY, most organizations communicate from the outside in. They tell you what they do, then they explain how they do it. And finally, they may tell you why they do it. But the most inspiring leaders communicate in the opposite direction. They start from the inside and move outward. They begin with why, then they explain how. And finally, they show you what. This may sound like a small difference, but it changes everything. Imagine two companies selling exactly the same product. The first company says, we make great computers. They are fast, beautifully designed, easy to use, and powerful. You should buy one. The second company says, we believe in challenging the way things have always been done. We believe that people should have the freedom to think differently, create differently, and imagine a better future. Everything we do is designed to make that possible. And yes, we happen to make great computers. Both companies may sell the same product. Both may have excellent technology. Both may have talented employees. But one is selling a product, the other is communicating a belief. And people are often more inspired by what you believe than by what you make. This is one of the most powerful truths about human behavior. People do not simply make decisions based on facts and information. They make decisions based on what those facts mean to them. They choose products that reflect who they believe they are. They support leaders who represent something they believe in. They join movements because they believe in the cause. They follow people because they see something in that person that connects with something inside themselves. This is why the greatest leaders do not simply create followers. They create believers. A follower says, I am doing this because you told me to. A believer says, I am doing this because I believe in it. Those two things are completely different. If people follow you only because you give them instructions, they will stop following when someone else gives them better instructions. If people work for you only because you pay them, they may leave when another company offers them more money. If customers buy from you only because you are cheaper, they may leave when someone else offers a lower price. But when people believe in your why, the relationship becomes deeper. They are no longer simply buying what you sell. They are becoming part of what you believe. That is the power of purpose. Think about the greatest leaders throughout history. They did not simply tell people what to do. They gave people something to believe in. They showed people a vision of a future that did not yet exist. They made people believe that tomorrow could be different from today. And once people could see that future in their minds, they became willing to work for it. This is the essence of leadership. Leadership is not about having the most power. It is not about having the loudest voice. It is not about standing at the front of the room and giving orders. Real leadership is about giving people a reason to move. It is about showing people something worth moving toward. A manager says, do this because I am your manager. A leader says, we are doing this because we believe in something bigger than ourselves. A manager creates compliance. A leader creates commitment. A manager tells people what to do. A leader helps people understand why it matters. And when people understand why something matters, they begin to bring their best selves to the work. They become more creative. They become more responsible. They become more resilient. They start looking for solutions instead of waiting for instructions. Because now they are not simply working for you. They are working for something they believe in. This is why your why matters so much. Your why is the reason you continue when things become difficult. Your why is what gives meaning to your effort. Your why is what keeps you moving when the excitement disappears, because there will always be moments when motivation disappears. There will be days when your plans fail. There will be moments when people criticize you. There will be times when nobody believes in you. There will be moments when the results are not coming as quickly as you expected. And during those moments, your what will not be enough. Your what tells you what you are trying to achieve. But your why tells you why you cannot give up. A person with a goal may quit when the goal becomes difficult. But a person with a purpose will find another way. That is the difference. When you have a strong why, failure becomes information. Rejection becomes feedback. Obstacles become challenges, and difficult moments become part of the journey, instead of reasons to abandon the journey. This is why you must discover your own why, not the why that society gives you, not the why your parents gave you, not the why your friends expect you to have, not the why that looks impressive on social media, your why, the one that belongs to you, because the world will constantly tell you what success should look like. It will tell you that success means having more money. It will tell you that success means having a bigger house. It will tell you that success means having more followers. It will tell you that success means having a prestigious title. It will tell you that success means being admired by strangers. But you have to stop and ask yourself, why? Why do I want these things? What do I believe they will give me? What am I really searching for? Maybe you want money because you want freedom. Maybe you want success because you want to provide a better life for your family. Maybe you want recognition because you want to prove to yourself that you are capable. Maybe you want to build a business because you want to solve a problem that matters to you. Maybe you want to create content because you want to inspire someone who feels lost. Maybe you want to become a leader because you want to help other people discover their potential. The surface goal is not always the real goal. Sometimes you have to go deeper. You have to ask why again, and then again, and again, until you reach the belief underneath the goal. That belief may be your why. Your why does not have to sound impressive. It does not have to change the entire world. Your why might be as simple as wanting to give your family a better future. It might be wanting to make your parents proud. It might be wanting to help one person who is struggling. It might be wanting to create something that did not exist before. It might be wanting to become the person you know you are capable of becoming. The power of a why does not come from how big it sounds. It comes from how deeply you believe it, because when your why is real, it influences everything you do. It influences your decisions. It influences your priorities. It influences the people you choose to work with. It influences the opportunities you accept. It influences the opportunities you reject. And sometimes knowing your why gives you the courage to say no. This is incredibly important. When you do not know your why, every opportunity looks attractive. Every trend looks important. Every new idea seems like something you should pursue. You begin chasing everything. And when you chase everything, you often accomplish nothing meaningful. But when you know your why, you have a filter. You can ask, does this move me closer to the purpose I believe in? If the answer is yes, move forward. If the answer is no, let it go. Your why gives you direction. And direction is often more important than speed, because you can move extremely fast and still end up in the wrong place. The world constantly encourages us to move faster, Work faster, grow faster, make money faster, build faster, become successful faster. But before you ask how fast you can move, you must ask where you are going, because speed without direction is simply movement. And movement is not progress. Your why gives your movement meaning. It tells you where you are going and why you are willing to make the journey. This principle applies to business. It applies to leadership. It applies to relationships. It applies to personal growth. It applies to everything. If you are building a business, do not start by asking only, what can I sell? Ask, what problem do I want to solve? If you are building a YouTube channel, do not ask only, how many views can I get? Ask, what value can I create? If you are building a team, do not say only, we need to make more money. Tell your team what you are trying to build and why it matters. If you are raising children, do not simply teach them how to become successful. Teach them why their abilities matter. Teach them how their talents can serve something greater than themselves. Because when people understand the why, they begin to see their work differently. A teacher is no longer simply teaching lessons. They are shaping minds. A doctor is no longer simply treating patients. They are protecting lives. An entrepreneur is no longer simply building a company. They are solving problems. A parent is no longer simply raising children. They are shaping the future. A content creator is no longer simply making videos. They are influencing the thoughts, emotions, and beliefs of people they may never meet. The what may look ordinary, but the why can make it extraordinary. This is why purpose is so powerful. It transforms ordinary actions into meaningful actions. And when your actions have meaning, your energy changes, your commitment changes, your resilience changes, your leadership changes, your life changes. But there is something else you must understand. Your why cannot exist only as words. You cannot simply write a beautiful mission statement and expect people to believe you. Your actions must prove your words. If you say you believe in innovation, but you punish every new idea, people will believe your behavior, not your words. If you say you believe in freedom, but you control every decision, people will believe your behavior. If you say you care about your customers, but you ignore them when they have problems, people will remember what you did. Your why must be visible in the way you operate. Your how must support your why. Your what must prove your why. These three elements must work together. WHY gives you purpose. How gives you principles. HAT gives you results. When they are aligned, people can feel it. And when they are not aligned, people can feel that too. This is why authenticity matters. People do not connect deeply with perfection. They connect with belief. They connect with conviction. They connect with people who genuinely care about something. You do not have to have all the answers. You do not have to be perfect. You do not have to pretend that everything is easy. But you must know what you believe. Because people can follow a person who is still learning. They can follow a person who makes mistakes. They can follow a person who does not know everything, but they struggle to follow someone who does not know why they are leading. So ask yourself, what do I believe? What do I stand for? What kind of future do I want to help create? What problem makes me angry enough to do something about it? What possibility excites me enough to keep going? What would I still do if nobody applauded me? What would I continue doing if there were no immediate reward? The answers to these questions may reveal your why, and once you discover it, protect it, because the world will try to distract you. People will tell you to change your direction. Some will tell you that your dream is unrealistic. Some will laugh. Some will doubt you. Some will tell you that you should be more practical. And sometimes their advice may even be well-intentioned. But you must learn to distinguish between advice that helps you improve your how and advice that asks you to abandon your why. Your how may need to change. Your strategy may need to change. Your business model may need to change. Your plan may need to change. But your why can remain constant. The Wright brothers did not become pioneers because they had the most resources. They became pioneers because they believed something that others considered impossible. They were not simply trying to build a machine. They were pursuing a belief that human beings could fly. That belief gave meaning to the work. That belief gave them the courage to experiment. That belief gave them the strength to fail and try again. The lesson is not that you must become a pioneer in aviation. The lesson is that extraordinary results often begin with an extraordinary belief. Before people see the result, they must believe in the possibility. Before people join the movement, they must believe in the cause. Before people follow the leader, they must believe in the vision. Everything begins with why. So what is your why? Perhaps you have never thought about it. Perhaps you have spent years working hard without ever asking yourself why. Perhaps you have been following a path simply because everyone around you is following the same path. Perhaps you are successful by society's definition, but you still feel empty. If that is you, stop for a moment. You do not necessarily need to work harder. You may need to reconnect with your purpose, because sometimes the problem is not that you are moving too slowly. The problem is that you are moving in the wrong direction. You can spend 10 years climbing a ladder only to discover that it was leaning against the wrong wall. Your why helps you choose the right wall. It helps you decide what is worth your time, what is worth your energy, what is worth your sacrifice, and what is not. Because your time is limited, your energy is limited, your life is limited. You cannot pursue everything. So choose what matters. Choose the purpose that makes the struggle worth it. Choose the mission that makes you willing to get back up. Choose the belief that gives you strength when nobody else believes. And then build everything around it. Build your career around it. Build your business around it. Build your relationships around it. Build your leadership around it. Build your life around it. Because when you know why you are doing something, you become much harder to stop. You may fail, but you will learn. You may fall, but you will rise. You may be rejected, but you will continue. You may have to change your strategy, but you will not abandon your purpose. That is what makes purpose so powerful. It gives you something deeper than motivation. Motivation can disappear. Purpose remains. Motivation depends on how you feel today. Purpose reminds you why today matters. Motivation says, I feel like doing this. Purpose says this matters, even when I do not feel like doing it. And that is why the people who create lasting impact are rarely driven only by motivation. They are driven by conviction. They know why they started. They remember what they believe, and they understand that the journey will never be perfect. There will be setbacks. There will be delays. There will be uncertainty. But they continue because the destination is bigger than the difficulty. So perhaps the greatest question you can ask yourself today is not, what do I want to achieve? Ask instead, what do I want my life to stand for? That question changes everything because goals tell you what to accomplish. Purpose tells you who to become. Goals can give you a destination. Purpose gives you a direction. Goals can give you something to celebrate. Purpose gives you something to live for. And when your goals are connected to your purpose, success becomes more meaningful. You are no longer chasing success simply to prove that you are successful. You are using success as a tool to serve something you believe in. Money becomes a resource. Influence becomes a responsibility. Leadership becomes an opportunity to serve. Knowledge becomes something to share. And your life becomes bigger than your own achievements. That is when real impact begins. The world does not need more people who are simply busy. It needs more people who are purposeful. It does not need more leaders who want power. It needs leaders who have a reason to use power responsibly. It does not need more businesses that only want to make money. It needs businesses that solve meaningful problems. It does not need more people chasing attention. It needs people creating value. And it does not need more people asking, what can I get? It needs people asking, what can I give? So start with why, start with the belief, start with the purpose, start with the cause. Start with the reason that makes you willing to keep going when the applause disappears. Because when you know your why, your what becomes clearer. When you know your why, your how becomes stronger. When you know your why, your decisions become easier. When you know your why, your leadership becomes more powerful. And when you know your why, you stop living someone else's definition of success. You begin to create your own. Your why becomes the foundation. Your how becomes the path. Your what becomes the evidence. And together, they create something far more powerful than success. They create meaning. One day, when you look back on your life, you may not remember every meeting you attended. You may not remember every dollar you earned. You may not remember every award you received. You may not remember every person who applauded you, but you will remember whether your life meant something to you. You will remember whether you used your time for something you believed in. You will remember whether your work made a difference. You will remember whether you had the courage to live according to your own purpose. So do not spend your entire life asking what you can do. Ask why you should do it. Do not ask only how you can become successful. Ask why success matters to you. Do not ask only how you can get people to follow you. Ask why they should believe in what you are building. Do not simply build a career. Build a purpose. Do not simply create a business. Create value. Do not simply lead people. Give them something worth believing in, because people may forget what you said. They may forget what you sold. They may forget the details of what you did, but they will remember how you made them feel. They will remember what you stood for. They will remember the belief you gave them, and they will remember the possibility you helped them see. Your why is the invisible force behind everything visible in your life. It is the reason behind the work, the meaning behind the struggle, the purpose behind the sacrifice, the belief behind the action. And perhaps the greatest thing you can do is discover that reason and then have the courage to live by it. So begin today. Ask yourself the question most people avoid. Why? Why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why does this matter? Why should I continue? Why should anyone care? And when you find the answer, do not keep it hidden. Let it guide your decisions. Let it shape your work. Let it influence your leadership. Let it become the foundation of everything you create. Because the world does not simply need to know what you do. The world needs to know why you do it. And more importantly, you need to know. Because when you know your why, you do not just find a reason to work harder. You find a reason to live with intention. You find a reason to keep going. You find a reason to inspire others. You find a reason to turn an idea into action, a vision into reality, and a dream into something that can change the lives of others. Start with why. Let your purpose lead. Let your belief guide you. Let your actions prove what you stand for. And then, no matter how difficult the journey becomes, you will always know why you started. And that knowledge may become the greatest source of strength you will ever have.